What do you strongly suspect, but have no proof of? The Kardashians usually wear solid colored clothing because it's easier for them to Photoshop.
Excellent observation.
I'm convinced they aren't really as dumb as they seem. It's all an act, fakery. I heard Kim speak in a Wait Don't Tell Me episode once, and I could feel the cogs turn, choosing her words not to sound too smart, and to stay in character.
That my brother stole, and sold all my DS games for weird money. They were in a black case, and one day they were gone, case, and all. I still haven't beaten Pokemon Conquest frown. Edit, I am shocked at the amount of people that have also had this happen to them frown. It breaks my heart a sibling/parent/uncle would steal from a family member like that, and I hope you all have all the games/cards/records that you could ever want now, with no one to steal them.
That Bath and Body Works has like 13 unique scents. Every couple of months they just rotate the scents in, and call them something else. Edit, thank you for the gold stranger.
I read something similar to this by a Yankee Candle outlet employee. Most of the scents are identical, but the names get licensed, so they need to be changed from what's in the actual chain stores, and half the time in those main stores the new seasonal scent has just been renamed from last season. I believe that Apple never actually intended for anyone to buy their $999 monitor stand. It was just an excuse so they could invalidate all warranty claims for the Pro monitor. We can't approve your claim due to the use of improper third-party equipment.
Nice thinking.
That my 5-month-old knows exactly when I'm about to fall asleep, and starts crying just to f with me.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There is no louder, more upsetting noise to a baby than the sound of a parent's head hitting a pillow.
That's why you gotta sleep on the floor twice a week to throw him off. Never let the enemy know your next move.
There's a theory out there that babies who cry had an evolutionary advantage over those who didn't because the crying/exhaustion would prevent the parents from and making new babies who would become competition for first baby's resources.
I think my great-uncle was gay, but lived in a time where he had to hide that part of himself. He never had a wife or kids. He traveled a lot, and was very into art. I asked my grandma a while back if she thought he was gay, and she said he just wasn't interested in having girlfriends.
That's a funny way for your grandma to tell you he was gay.
More than half of people who buy expensive luxury cars, BMWs, Audi, etc., can actually afford them. They're just trying to hold an image that they are rich.
Same goes for people with big houses, and designer clothes. Everything's on credit. There was a boy I knew at school who's all about the #entrepreneur thing. He's always posting about his brand new Mercedes, posh watches, expensive wool suits, new 2-bedroom house. When his little brother got annoyed with him getting all this attention, it was revealed that the house is as mortgaged as it could possibly be, and he only pays the interest. His car is financed for the lowest monthly payment possible. He pays for everything on a variety of credit cards, which he also only pays the interest on. Reddit questions are a clever way AI could compile data on every one of us. It's taking questions like, what would you buy if you could only buy things with the first letter of your name? Children of the 80s what? What is it in your state/country that? It's capable of building a profile on all of us.
According to our AI-generated profile, you like eating ass.
Those are just posts by people who work for BuzzFeed who are looking for material. That's why the answers in those threads end up on BuzzFeed later.
They're also working at the Chive, since a lot of these go on there. Plus those shitty YouTube videos, where they read the comments, and play random movie clips that have nothing to do with the story.
Prince Charles will never sit on the throne. I believe he made a deal with Queen Elizabeth that in exchange for being allowed to marry Camilla he gave up his right to sit on the throne. Prince William will sit on the throne when Queen Elizabeth dies.
If Queen Elizabeth dies,
every time someone says God save the Queen, she gets 5 extra minutes.
That only about 20% of people actually do any work. The rest just get by looking busy.
I'd say 80% of people work just 20% of their work hours.
I finished all my work by 8:30 this morning. At the end of each month, this is how it is.
This is an actual problem that large corporations face. It is known as Price's law, which states that the square root of the number of people in a domain do 50% of the work. So with 10 workers, 3 do 50% of the work, which is acceptable. But a larger company of 100 workers, only 10 do 50% of the work, and so on, and so forth. When you think about it, it seems absurd but true in the same time.
Anyone who's done group projects already knows this is true. Sometimes other people actually do want to contribute, but they're just not competent or efficient enough.
That a lot of unsolved murders are actually contract kills carried out by professional hitmen / hitwomen.
Glad to see conspiracies are becoming more inclusive.
We prefer hitters, or hit people.
No, believe it or not, many murdered people haven't even come to the attention of law enforcement. The same with many missing people who were known by no or very few people. People like transients, runaways, the homeless, or just people with no real connections. And even if you were discovered missing / murdered, the case isn't gonna get solved if the relevant people won't speak to the police.
Yeah, the Grateful Doe subreddit is all about unidentified decedents, that is, bodies who have yet to be unidentified. It's shocking how many people can disappear without anyone missing them. There's a lot of disenfranchised people out there.
Bigfoot is actually a cultural memory from humans who migrated from Asia, and that's why there are stories about Yeti and Sasquatch. The actual creature, though, died out tens of thousands of years ago.
And stories of trolls may have originated from a time when humans and Neanderthals coexisted.
And finding dinosaur fossils are why we have stories of dragons.
And I figure a lot of fairy stories are really from cannibal serial killers living in the woods. Witch equals old lady who eats little kids, ogre equals big psycho who eats anybody. Neanderthals were muscular and thick-boned, but not tall. 5-foot-ish.
Witches were just men and women, sometimes pagan, sometimes outside of religious orthodoxy, who were excluded from the community, and then persecuted as a scapegoat. It's actually pretty well established historically. Many tropes related to them originate from tropes about persecuted people.
Also, I've heard someone suggest that witches who stole firstborn children were actually just medicine women who performed abortions. I have no source on that, obviously, but it makes so much sense I'm inclined to believe it.
Wow. That's really interesting.
I reckon a lot of fairy stories are an explanation for mental illness or birth defects before we really understood that sort of thing. Oh, your kid got snatched out of the crib and replaced by a changeling with slightly strange features and mannerisms. Nah, that's autism or fetal alcohol syndrome.
That I'm in a very detailed dream right now.
I always worry that real me is in a coma, and the me I think I am is a figment of my imagination, along with everyone I know.
Honey, wake up. Your mother, and I miss you.
Stop, OMG. Lol.
I recently lucid dreamed for the first time ever, and it freaked me the f*** out. I was trying to dial a phone number, which is something that I am never able to accomplish in dreams. I'll keep dialing the wrong number, or my fingers will slip when dialing, etc. I thought I can't seem to dial this number, so that means I must be dreaming. From there it was like a switch was flipped, and I was totally conscious, and in control of myself in the dream, and everything felt absolutely real, not dream-like at all. It was neat, but when I truly woke up I didn't trust my own senses or perception of reality for like a good 30 minutes. I hit upon the idea to try dialing a phone number again, and if I could do it, which I did, I would know I was truly awake. Some people talk about looking at their hands and fingers as a sign of whether or not they are awake or dreaming. I'm not sure how this works. The point is, find one thing that you can use as a reality check, something that happens only, and often in your dreams, but never in your waking life. The referees / umpires / league officials have a preference for which team will win a playoff series in the 4 major North American sports leagues. I'm not saying the other team can't win, but the calls will go in one team's favor more times than not. The team they want to win is based on things like ratings, market size, recent team history, and actual real-world events.
New England.
Yeah. The Patriots are the most winning team since the Patriot Act.
Like, How the Patriots won the Super Bowl after 9/11.
The Statue of Liberty switches hands when nobody is looking.
And if anyone is looking, she just flashes her neuralizer.
The flash of light you saw in the sky was not a UFO. Swamp gas from a weather balloon was trapped in a thermal pocket, and reflected the light from Venus.
My dog may not have gone to live on a farm, but my parents have never given a clear explanation of this.
I asked my parents this summer about my 2 dogs from the 80s, that were adopted by a farmer up north, and they admitted that they actually went to the vet, and that's why they got upset every time I asked if we could visit the farmer. It took 30 years to learn the truth.
Women's clothes have either no pockets or crummy pockets to promote handbag sales.
That one is true. They save money on not including pocket fabric, and make money on the handbags. There's no way it isn't true.
But what about clothing manufacturers that don't make handbags? It's such a common complaint that it seems like the first company to tap that market could make a killing. That the universe is teeming with life. Earth just can't be that special. Edit, glad this is a rich topic. I'm very familiar with the Drake equation, and the Fermi paradox. My favorite answer to the Fermi paradox is that we're just not that interesting. Life on Earth is an anthill in a grassy area in the corner of an enormous city. Super curious to hear thoughts from those who doubt there is life elsewhere. Would love to hear your reasoning.
Maybe our particular conditions are unique, or very rare, but I also have a hard time believing there's not some kind of life somewhere out there.
Trillions and trillions of planets in a universe so vast it's unimaginable to grasp the true size of it. I'd wager everything that we aren't the only life out there. If we'll ever find life is another question though.
The solution to the Fermi paradox is that any species that attains technological society is doomed to self-destruction. Think about all the times you have seen mold grow in a sealed environment. It grows without bounds until it chokes on its own byproducts. We are no different on a galactic scale.
Jeffrey Epstein was murdered/coerced into suicide.
I agree with you, he was hit, to protect other prominent people, and their pedophilia.
At the bare minimum, he was coerced into offing himself, and the guards were paid off. I'm no conspiracy nut, but this is the one single conspiracy I firmly believe.
It is a rare case where the conspiracy theory is way more plausible than the official story of literally everything going wrong the night the most important prisoner in federal custody, on suicide watch, managed to off himself.
That the majority of Reddit is bots. It's remarkable how many posts/top comments are just old posts/top comments.
There was a post on somewhere that did actual research about it, and proved that a large majority of the PPL on Reddit were just bots karma whoring.
Why are they karma whoring though? Do they sell the account to someone?
Not just Reddit. There's reason to believe the majority of the internet is bots. All those stupid videos in YouTube's trending, Reddit, and imagery posts? Worthless Facebook drivel? Probably put there by bots. Now imagine the effect this has on the online community when a perceived majority isn't even real. Edit, another article, links in the description.
In my city something bad is about to happen. I see a lot of mansions on sale, and houses with good location too. I think rich people know something that the rest of the people don't. Pretty paranoid, sorry. Edit 1, the economic conjectures are accurate, but in this city we have a petrochemistry, and like a month ago, an explosion was listened on all the city.
Which country do you live in?
Argentina, Buenos Aires, Bahia Blanca. If we blow up, you'll know by me first.
I heard your government may default on their international loans. This would cause massive unemployment, and devaluing of the peso, making it practically worthless for international trade. It happened to Argentina in the 90s too, I think. That my wife is throwing one of each pair of socks away.
Just be glad she isn't using them to wipe.
Trump never wanted to win the presidency.
Honestly, I agree totally.
Same here. I mean, the Dems f***ed up so hard that a guy who was doing it for publicity, and pretty much paying peanuts of his own money to the billions of dollars paid by the corporations, won with ease.
I absolutely believe this. He was just trying to get a lot of publicity, and maybe some ghostwritten book deals, so he said totally outrageous things knowing that he'd been knocked out of the running early, only he didn't count on the fact that there are a lot of racists and sexists in the country. My reasoning is based on his and Melania's reaction to winning the election. He was just stunned, and didn't look thrilled to have won, and she looked like she was going to cry in an "I can't believe this is happening" way, but not like she won Miss America, but more of a being sentenced to life in prison way. Their reactions were just not normal for a politician who won unexpectedly. Every episode of every reality show is either tightly scripted, or at least framed, and reshot so the producers can get the right amount of drama on the screen. Edit, 70% of the replies are "of course this is true, you'd be retarded to think otherwise," and the other 30% are "this is an absurd fabrication, and you'd have to be retarded to believe it." God bless Reddit.
This has proof though. Most of the Hills actors, for example, have admitted this publicly.
Spotify Shuffle isn't actually random.
They had to change it because people complained of repeated songs, as randomness doesn't care that you just heard it. The Uber algorithm rewards new drivers to give them a good first impression for how much money they can make in the first few weeks.
There's no hot MILFs in my area.
Be the hot MILF that the pop-up knows you can be.
My dog sees supernatural events at our house.
Both of my girlfriends are cheating on me.
Hold up.
With each other most likely, neither of them actually like you, and it's all just one social experiment that they will later compile into a video series. Which will of course be dramatized to make you look like an idiot.
Nice.
All the bad press incidents that happen to these big companies are actually staged by the big company themselves as a form of advertising. Remember the Starbucks Christmas cup one? They had some Christmas shit on their cups, then took it off. Christians went mad about it. But here's the end result: you couldn't go on Facebook for a week without seeing that Starbucks woman logo everywhere. Some local papers and news even talked about it. Then what was the damage? Christians supposedly didn't like it, but my theory is that Starbucks advertising company themselves created the memes on FB and circulated them. But do you know of any that really stopped drinking coffee over it? Everyone else didn't give a shit. So the result? Not much impact for your logo and name being everywhere in the media for a week. How much is that worth in advertising dollars? Likewise, how about when Nike was going to make that flag shoe, and then, supposedly, Kaepernick had the whole thing called off? Lol, I'm sure he's at the Nike strategy meetings. You supposedly lost your chance to buy the flag shoe, I guess, but what was the result? Again, they were everywhere on social media and news for a week. That Nike swoosh logo everywhere. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and ring the notification bell.